From sprinkling salt in a fancy way to making nasty jokes and following insane morning routines, these are some of the people who enjoyed barely 15 minutes of fame.
Just trying to make it with the Island Boys.
And to begin with, we've got Salt Bae. Now everyone remembers this cool guy wearing fancy shades and seasoning his steaks with salt in the most pretentious way imaginable. But since the internet works in mysterious ways, somehow everyone went crazy after a random video of him cutting steak went viral. You see, Nusret was just another Turkish chef, chasing his dream of becoming a globally famous chef. He started working as a butcher in 2007 in various restaurants in the US and Argentina. Then, in 2010, he got his first kickoff when a Turkish businessman invested in his newly opened Nusret Steakhouse in Istanbul. This investment helped him expand to the Middle Eastern cities like Doha and Dubai. All of this had already happened before anybody even put together the term Salt Bae. However, fast forward 7 years and everything changed for Nusret. On 7th January 2017, Nusret uploaded a video on his Instagram, cutting a massive piece of steak, just like he always did. But this time there was just one tiny little addition, this iconic move. And this one move took him from being a steakhouse owner to the most sought-after chef in the world. Just 2 days after this video was uploaded, Bruno Mars tweeted a screenshot of Nusret, and that gave his video the last push it needed. Within minutes, millions of people watched the video, and that was the beginning of his insane rise to fame. Within a few years, his restaurants became the go-to place for celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio, Usher, David Beckham, and even Conor McGregor. But quickly, people started to notice some weird things. For instance, the prices at each Nusret restaurant were insane. A starter would cost nearly $100, and a steak could go well over $700. Of course, he was relying more on offering an extravagant and exclusive experience in his restaurants, but the prices could never be justified. Also, this meant that normal people who enjoyed watching him could never experience the Salt Bae action in real life. Then, there were some legal issues. His employees in various restaurants filed lawsuits against the Nusret empire, alleging sexual harassment, racism, and poor working conditions. But the most shocking news that surfaced was about his food quality. Senior food critics like Robert Sietsema from Eater New York and Pete Wells from the New York Times described his steaks as rubbery and without flavor. The sides were said to be awful. Even the vegetables were unappetizing. And sadly for him, these reviews left their mark. The criticism kept flowing because no matter how good the steak could have been made, the prices were so absurd that most people just lost their appetite by looking at them. At this point, the prices, the mediocre food, and the lawsuits were already contributing to his declining popularity. But this was just the beginning, because in 2022, at the FIFA World Cup, he made his way to the pitch to pester players for a selfie and got hold of the World Cup trophy. He posed with the trophy, carried on with his antics, and even had verbal altercations with players like Messi. And that got FIFA thinking, who the hell is this guy messing with the trophy and the players? An investigation was launched, and when it was found that he breached security protocols set by FIFA, he was banned. While he did this, his restaurants back in the US kept closing, one after another. His Dallas and Las Vegas restaurants closed, the Boston location never opened, and the Nusret burger joint also fell down. The only locations still working are in New York, Miami, and Beverly Hills. But given how much his popularity has declined, the restaurants are now only offering the cringeworthy salt sprinkle action and nothing more. Surprisingly, Salt Bae isn't the only person who became a celebrity from just one video, because Haliey Welch had the exact same thing happen to her. The Hawk Tuah girl went from being a factory worker to a globally recognized icon with a random street interview where she made a joke. That one joke made her the most talked about person of 2024, and she capitalized on her fame more than anybody else on this list. Tim and Dee's TV, a YouTube channel famous for unhinged street interviews, met Haliey on a street in Nashville. They were asking everyone an erotic question, and Haliey gave the most unhinged, funny, and, well, nasty answer. Clearly this was just a joke, and she had no idea it would go viral. But it did, and it made her a trending topic. Within days, social media posts flooded the internet space with memes, cameos, and even a full-fledged parody song about her statement. And that is when Haliey started to realize that her life had changed. Her Instagram following blew up, and she had the spotlight. She came out with a YouTube channel and started creating content. However, she tried to stay humble in the beginning. She talked about how she never expected to get so much fame in an Instagram post. But then, everything changed. Haliey started to get brand deals, launched her own merchandise, and even launched her own podcast called Talk to Us. She gained over 200,000 subscribers on YouTube just like that, and this wasn't just luck. She actually had some insane reach. Wiz Khalifa, Mark Cuban, and even KSI made appearances on her podcast, showing that this venture was actually successful. And the final push was given by the biggest YouTuber ever, Mr. Beast. When he launched Lunchly, Haliey promoted it in a video, and Mr. Beast retweeted it. I mean, what better way to become popular than getting retweeted by the biggest YouTuber ever, right? Well, all of this happened, but the fame got to her head. In December 2024, she got into the world of crypto and promoted a meme coin called $HAWK. Apparently, this was supposed to be a great investment coin, but like any other meme coin, this one tanked immediately. Within hours, the coin's value plummeted by over 90%. It had an insane market cap of $500 million, but now, investors were in millions of dollars of losses. People literally said that this was a pump and dump scheme orchestrated by her just to get profits. Coffeezilla exposed her for the scam, but Haliey kept denying the accusations. And since then, her period of fame came to an end. Today, she's still doing the podcast thing, but barely managing any views, just like Jason Nash of the Vlog Squad. Nash was one of the most loved comedians of the Vlog Squad back when they were super popular. However, after David Dobrik got entangled in controversies and allegations, the squad just fell off. Jason moved on to start his podcast called All Good Things, where he maintained a super active presence. In its early days, the podcast actually worked. He got some decent views, but that was it. His viewership quickly fell off, and he only managed to get a couple of thousand views per episode. He also moved on to TikTok Live, played some games on there, and hosted battles with his audience. But this didn't work out either. Jason became known for literally begging for money on TikTok. He became a panhandler on TikTok Live, screaming and shouting in game battles, asking the followers and fans for gifts and money. This showed that Jason's popularity and career tanked after the Vlog Squad broke up. Working for David was the only thing that kept him financially secure, because right now, his finances are absolutely disastrous. And just like Jason, Tony from Lcsign also fell off after enjoying 15 minutes of online fame. Tony is a marketing guy from China's Lcsign, a store that sells neon signs. He became known for his funny marketing tactics, often using memes and reels to market his products on Instagram. These funny antics garnered millions of views. The way he used memes and reels, although questionable at times, resonated closely with Gen A and Gen Z humor. Because of that, going viral wasn't super surprising. Now, Tony wasn't part of any major controversy, apart from his jokes that are sometimes offensive to some people. But the biggest issue was that Tony was riding a wave of trends on Instagram. He gathered millions of views on his reels in the beginning, but slowly, the trend faded away. People started to say that his jokes weren't funny anymore, mainly because almost every other joke was against homosexual people. However, this didn't mean that his viewership declined as much as Jason Nash's did. He still manages over 500,000 views on his reels. But let's be real, the homosexual jokes aren't super funny, especially in the current political climate, and Tony's popularity is likely going to decrease even more if he doesn't pivot to something else. Now, Tony is still quite popular, but there's one person who couldn't manage the overwhelming fame after his video went viral. This is Alex Lee, the guy who went viral after a random girl found him cute. In 2014, he worked at the checkout line at his local Target in Texas. But one day, a teenage girl took a photo of him and uploaded it on Twitter. His mobile number was leaked, and according to him, his phone blew up. And that's not the only thing that happened. His Twitter account also went viral. He had barely 15 followers, but within a week, he got over 650,000. His Instagram account hit 2 million, and just like that, Alex Lee became an internet sensation. The fame was so insane that Ellen literally contacted him, asking him to come on the show in California. But Alex, a normal kid living a normal life, just couldn't handle the sudden fame. He tried to get a few management companies to work with him, and even did a few brand deals. But this wasn't the life for him. It got to the point where news reporters would wait all day outside his school just to interview him. Because of that, he had to literally leave school and opt for homeschooling. Alex even deleted his Twitter account because the constant scrutiny and fame were too much for him. He gave up the fame, kept a close social circle, and didn't become a content creator like every other person we talked about in this list. In fact, he currently has a job at UPS where he loads trucks. In his words, loading trucks in the morning is much better than doing social media. It pays a lot less, but the stress is also significantly lower while working a normal job. But unlike Alex, the backpack kid decided to cash in on his newfound fame without a second thought. Russell Horning went viral after his dance video made rounds on the internet. He recorded the videos while wearing a backpack, earning him the nickname. All of this happened back in 2016 when his Floss dance video came out. But he actually blew up on the internet when Katy Perry introduced him in her 2017 Saturday Night Love performance. This introduction on national TV got millions of people watching his content, and since this is the era of social media, his following increased dramatically. Within a day, he gained over 55,000 followers on Instagram, and his celebrity life began. He moved on to make his own music in 2018, releasing his first song called Flossin'. And around the same time, he got involved in some legal battles with Epic Games, the creators of Fortnite. According to Russell, his signature dance move was copied by Epic Games and added as an emote in Fortnite. His lawyers and managers believed he was taken advantage of, and they looked for a big payout. However, in March 2019, they just dropped the lawsuit voluntarily. But this didn't mean he gave up on his career as a celebrity. In fact, in 2024, he made his way onto the big screen after securing a role in the film Bonus Trip. And today he's super active on Instagram and YouTube. However, his popularity has declined massively. For instance, his YouTube views are absolutely dead, and he's barely even getting 1,000 views on his latest uploads. The last viral video he uploaded was 2 years ago. So, it's safe to say that while he tried to make the instant fame work in his favor, he only managed to sail that boat for a couple of years. Today, he's not relevant anymore because that dance was funny 9 years ago. Now it's just weird and cringe, just like the Island Boys and their so-called music. The Island Boys, who were the weirdest twin siblings of 2021, became viral after their song I'm an Island Boy had the internet in a chokehold. The song was such a disaster that rappers like Snoop Dogg literally roasted the twins on live TV. But this was nothing because these brothers, literal blood brothers, kissed each other on camera in 2021. According to them, they kissed each other to promote an OnlyFans page, and this only got them extreme hate from everyone on the internet. People were left disgusted because of what they were promoting, and, well, their popularity died down. But despite that, they kept trying to stay relevant with weird music and videos. However, in 2025, something shocking happened. In February 2025, Frankie Venegas was arrested on gun and drug charges in Florida. The 23-year-old rapper failed to stop at a stop sign and also had an expired license plate tag. The arrest records showed that he had a plastic bag full of oxycodone pills. After that, the brothers have parted ways, and they just follow their own paths, but their so-called careers are completely dead now, just like the podcast career of Bobbi Althoff. Bobbi became known for her awkward influencer interviews and dry humor. Her project called The Really Good Podcast gained momentum after celebrities like Drake, Offset, and Mark Cuban made appearances. Now, Bobbi was doing really great with the podcast. Interviews with billionaires and rappers made her extremely famous and, well, rich. But her interview with Drake put her career down the drain. During the interview, Bobbi was lying in bed with the rapper, which was an awkward start to the video. However, in the hour-long episode, she confessed to things that were just straight up insane. For instance, she said that she missed her daughter's first birthday to record this interview. Drake even called her out for being a horrible parent, but she was unfazed. She clapped back with an insult, asking Drake about his son, but this wasn't well received by the rapper's fans. And then, people started to notice a trend. Bobbi often insulted her guests, like Offset, who had millions of fans, just to get views for herself. For example, in the interview with Offset, she asked the rapper how much his glasses were worth, and then proceeded to ask if he stole them. The fans didn't appreciate this at all. People said that she was the one who abandoned her family to interview rappers and then insult them on the podcast. Slowly but surely, these antics made Bobbi's popularity die down. The final nail in the coffin was when she canceled a comedy tour with Funny Marco to launch her own tour. This made people think that she was an industry plant, and they just stopped watching her content altogether. Today, she's still active on her YouTube channel and does the podcast thing, but her views have dropped significantly. Her last few uploads, except the interview with Kevin Gates, only got a couple of 100,000 views, which were significantly lower than what she used to rake in. Now, Bobbi Althoff is just another random YouTuber who makes a weird podcast, and people just don't enjoy the content anymore. And unlike everyone else we've talked about today, the last guy on this list, he's still very much in the game. Meet Ashton Hall, the guy who tricked the entire internet with his insane morning routine. On 20th March 2025, his morning routine video went viral after a men's fashion account on X reposted it. Over 700 million impressions, 100,000 reposts, and thousands of likes made Ashton's routine spread everywhere. However, Ashton wasn't a nobody before going viral. He played football at the Alto State University in 2014 to 2015. After graduating, he worked as a gym manager in Florida, turning himself into a bodybuilding beast. But this viral video was the exact thing he needed to get his name out there. Ashton's 3:50 a.m. routine, which included dipping his face in Saratoga water, made rounds on the internet, and he realized that his golden period of fame had just begun. For a couple of months, he enjoyed the attention, but like all internet trends, this one also started to fade away. His collaborations with Mr. Beast, DJ Khaled, and other celebrities did keep him relevant, but it was just for a few weeks. After that, Mr. Hall's entire personality became face-dipping and rubbing banana peel on his face. He became a meme and people roasted him every chance they got. And now he's just a content creator who does the same thing over and over again, just in different variations. Yet somehow the numbers still back him up. He has over 17 million followers on Instagram, 3.8 million on YouTube, 6.8 million on TikTok, and his content still pulls solid views. So while he's no longer in the mainstream spotlight, he hasn't faded out either. He's carved a niche, and for now, it's working. But let's not sugarcoat it. Internet fame is fickle. Trends move fast, and only a few get to ride the wave for a long time. Others just fade away into irrelevance when a new topic becomes the talk of the town. Interestingly enough, the same thing has happened to some of the biggest YouTubers in the past, too. And if you're interested in knowing who they were, check out this video next.